So, what did you think? Let's rank this film on the Cageometer.
So, Vince, where does Color Out of Space rank on your Cageometer, both the movie and Cage's performance?
So for the movie, I'll give it a 7. I didn't know if they were going to be able to pull it off because, like we talked about, Lovecraft is hard to adapt. And after reading the short story, I really wondered how they were going to play into the mysterious background of the alien and the color and all that aspect. I think they did a great job. They did a really good job at adapting it and making it fun and a little goofy at times, but also throwing some horror in there that you wouldn't expect. Overall, like, the writing was pretty decent. I felt like the movie moved at a good pace. We already kind of broke down and talked about some of the stuff that could have been left out. Ezra, the mayor, maybe actually including that deleted scene where the mayor is, kind of trying to bribe Ward to, say that, hide the results of the water testing. Just to kind of give her being in the movie a little more purpose. But overall, I mean, I thought they did a really good job. I thought especially after talking through it, like tying in the Wiccan stuff to some of the bad things that happened, and then kind of realizing that maybe Lavinia was the key to this creature being able to finally leave the planet, and her getting her wish of being taken away from this place, even though it might not have been in the way that she wanted. But kind of everything wrapped up pretty well. And the little Easter eggs to the original short story, and even HP with naming the narrator after him, I thought it was a really nice little kiss to the original story. So, 7 for the movie. For Cage, I'd say I'll give him a 7 too. I really dug the calm demeanor he had at the beginning. He kind of did feel like that guy that was trying to be a dad. And it was awkward, awkwardness with his kids and all that stuff, but trying to still be fun. And then now that I know, it makes a lot more sense. Like, he starts to kind of devolve back into that Peter Lowe mentality, and watching him slide into that was fun. And then it's always fun watching him go crazy, pounding on the car. What does he say what does he say? That line about, like, when they're away, the cats will play or whatever the fuck. Just a silliness. Just a fucking silliness. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. He wasn't too over the top at times. It felt pretty well balanced. So I'll give him a 7 on this one.
Nigel, where does Color Out of Space rank on your Cageometer?
I'd say 7 out of 10 as well. It would be lower because I didn't think that the performances of some of the characters was that great. The actress who played Lavinia, I thought, was terrible. And the guy who plays Benny, I didn't think did a very good job either. But they're also teenage actors, so I don't know what you can expect out of it. But I just felt like I couldn't really buy anything from her performance at any time, especially when she was getting more freaked out about stuff. She just felt like she was just sort of saying lines that were, especially with the subtitles on, and you can really see what she's supposed to be saying, and the way that she would deliver the lines was just, I don't know, it was very, very bizarre. I don't know if that's on her or if that's on the director, but especially because she's sort of the main character of the movie. Like, she's the closest you could have to a protagonist for it. I don't think her stuff really worked that well for me. And then again, there's weird things like the stuff with the mayor and the Ezra's character being completely not really necessary for what was going on. And then the visuals not being the greatest, but I thought they were pretty good for apparently a less than $10 million budget. So I'll give that one a pass. Especially knowing that the director hadn't done anything for 24 years and the cinematographer did music videos. So it's actually very impressive what they were able to do. And again, I so now moving into the good. I really liked the visuals that they did with the color. Just having to film something that's indescribable. I think they did the best they could, and I also really enjoyed the soundtrack, which we haven't mentioned. But
yeah, the music is great.
The music is really good.
The synth had a lot of synth, which I really enjoyed, but just the creepy discordant synth that they had playing over stuff and blaring over things that just added again to that sense of unease and oppressiveness of what's going on around the whole story, and that sense of doom pervading the whole thing, which again it leads into this was a really good adaptation of a Lovecraft story. And I haven't read a lot of Lovecraft, I haven't watched a lot of Lovecraft, but I felt that this did nail what he was going for in the original sense of a horror based on a science fiction story that, the fear of the unknown and people put into completely horrifying and bizarre circumstances. So without a clear antagonist or an explanation for what was going on, and it seemed to juggle all that pretty well. And also, it was pretty much a retelling of what happened in the story, right down to his mom going up and being put in the attic with his son, which was also mutated. And then, it doesn't really describe what happens to them, but it says that it's something unmentionable or unspeakable, and you're supposed to, infer what that means, which on film, a mom being melded by her son into some agonizing abomination is pretty unspeakable and horrible. And like we said, it was really disturbing to watch. So
I'm surprised that was actually in the short story. I don't know why, but I just assumed that part wasn't actually in it.
I don't believe that them being like a fused together thing was, but what happened to his wife is basically described as being something that you can't even describe because it's so horrible. So they did a really good job of
Lovecraft's
adapting
go-to
that.
of like, I can't describe it.
Yeah, but it works really well in a written thing because now your imagination can come up with horrible things. And then in I think horror standard, like body horror is one of those ways that you would create that unmentionable visual. Everybody's completely grossed out by it, so why not lean into it? So really good adaptation, decent enough movie. Had some negatives about it, so it's not super great, but I put it at a 7. Better than average, in good territory.
Yeah.
Nic Cage's performance, I give that one a 6 out of 10. I think it was above average, but not on the not on an elevated level of being all that good. I just thought there were times where he kind of seemed like he was phoning it in a little bit. His delivery of certain stuff seemed odd and not like how a normal person would react to certain things.
That's Nic Cage, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's who he is.
Yeah, but I just I found myself asking as I watched it, if this movie wasn't with Nicolas Cage, would it be a different movie? And I felt like there was not really a need for him to be in this movie, to be as Nic Cage. They didn't allow him to do, as much Nic Cagey freak out stuff. And what he did, I thought was kind of subdued. Punching the car was great, calling it a cocksucker, but I think that was the most freak out we got out of it. And, so again, he did fine. I'm not going to say he did a bad job of it, so I'm not giving him a low grade on it, but I just say it was slightly above average, but nothing too spectacular.
Yeah. On my Cageometer, I also rated it a 7, so we have 7s across the board. I thought it was a great adaptation. It's definitely not a perfect movie, but it's kind of hard to look away throughout the whole movie. I feel like the whole movie is really like engaging. I mean, this movie's kind of long. I think it's like hour 40 something, but it holds your attention through the whole thing. And I didn't have as many issues with the performance. I thought Lavinia did okay, but wasn't amazing. But they're kid actors, like you said. It's kind of hard to expect perfection from them. I love the music. Obviously, I think the music is... Without the music, I actually watched the deleted scenes, and there's no music in the deleted scenes, and it's just dead. I don't know. I feel like the music adds so much to the whole movie. And then the visuals, which I thought were pretty amazing throughout the whole thing. I feel like that's the strong point of the whole movie. For the budget and what they had to work with, I feel like they did such a great job. And that dude shooting music videos, he was the perfect choice.
Yeah.
Perfect choice to shoot it. It feels like a music video through half the thing. As far as like Lovecraft adaptations, this is easily the best one that I've seen, at least. I've seen a few. I haven't watched the Lovecraft TV show. What was that called? Lovecraft Nation?
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country. I haven't seen that yet, but as far as like Dagon and other Lovecraft movies that I've seen in the past, they definitely didn't do as good of a job as this one. As far as Nic Cage, I would say the same thing that you said. Like, it didn't really feel necessary to have Nic Cage in this movie. I feel like they put Nic Cage in this movie because he had been in Mandy, and it's the same producers, and they really liked his performance in that. And Nic Cage is a bankable star, and I think that this movie kind of needed that, but it didn't necessarily need Nic Cage. You could have put a million other actors in that role. He kind of, in some points, like detracts from the story because of how freaking weird and over the top and just zany he is. But we, of course, on this show love that. That's like that's the thing. That's why we're watching all these movies, is because Nic Cage, every time out of the gates, does something you're not expecting, and this movie is no different. He did a lot of things I wasn't expecting throughout the whole movie. So yeah, I gave him a 6 out of 10 on that. So yeah, I think we're 7s across the board for the movie, and then a little over a 6. Yeah, for Nic Cage's performance.